Good afternoon, Justin. I'm
Good
so
afternoon.
happy that you accepted the interview. It's an honor for me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yes. Mr. Seedman is the SVP of Operations at Morro Capital, LLC. And I would like to ask you about your past during your marketer career, because I
Sure.
know you are very successful. But I would like to know, especially if you were very sure from the beginning that you are going to be a marketer.
Well, I started my first business in 2007. It's the name of my business is Justin Fit. And I grew that business to be the premier in-home personal training private practice in South Florida. And I did this through marketing. So I learned early on that I had a niche for a knack for marketing. It's something that comes naturally to me. So I built my first website and got it ranked on the first page of Google in 2007. And that website has generated well over $1 million in revenue,
Wow.
uh, just based on getting there early and being first. So it was a really big success. And then from there came social media. So I was able to very successfully market my small business on Facebook. And then afterwards became a subject matter expert for local television and also a lot of national publications and websites such as In Style, Yahoo, Brides Magazine, USA Today, and lots of other publications. So marketing was something that was always very close to me. And then in 2009, I decided to pursue a master's degree in marketing from FIU Chapman School of Business, which you know very well.
Yes,
You'll be
and
graduating in
it
only two
was
weeks.
a great booster for your career.
It was a big boost of for my career. So when I was there, I was recruited to come work at Morro Capital and head up operations here, where I oversee all of the marketing that is done. Um, my title here is operations because we outsource our marketing to agencies, but I oversee all of those agencies on a daily basis.
And when making strategic marketing decisions, what processes or methods do you use?
What processes or methods? Well, first thing is a lot of research. You know that a lot of research goes into marketing. You want to make sure that you understand your customer, both their demographics and psychographics. Very important to understand what the customer wants and how to help inform them so they can make the best purchasing decisions.
And for example, if I was a high schooler and I am interested in studying marketing in the future, which are the skills do you recommend juniors or students to acquire before starting a career in marketing?
Sure. Well, specifically for high school, I think that it's very critical in high school that you begin to learn how you learn best. So this is something that's going to set you up for success is you need to learn how you learn. That's your process. There's there's so many different ways that we learn. Like for me, for example, I know that I was the most successful going to the library where there were no distractions and putting myself in a cubicle. And I would look and I would set a timer 45 minutes where I would be able to stay completely focused without, losing concentration with and I would take a 15-minute break and then come right back for another 45-minute session. And that happened to work really well for me. Trying to work with a lot of distractions at home was not well. I couldn't do that with people around, with TV on, and longer than 45 minutes in high school, I would start to lose my attention span.
Mm,
So there, it just the time I spent would be diminishing comprehension. So I think that's really important. I think another thing is problem solving. You need to learn how to solve problems. You need to learn how to identify problems and then look for possible solutions. And you have to be resourceful. I think that those are the key indicators of success for somebody in high school that's just starting out. And if you're interested in marketing, start to look at small businesses around you and see what you like that they do, what you don't like, where you think they can improve, and then start to formulate some hypothesis. And then maybe you can bring it to them and say, look, here's some things that I think you could be doing. I wonder if you would let me try it out for you and test it. So these are a few things that I think that you could be doing in high school to get started.
Yeah, so a lot of organization skills. And also, do you recommend something like studying in advance Excel or Tableau, those platforms and things that you are going to need in the
Yeah.
profession?
Probably not. And the reason is because those sort of softwares are changing so much that the time that they get into the workplace,
I
that
understand.
won't even be, like Excel has been around a long time, right?
Uh-huh.
But who knows that Excel will still be in the form it is now by the time someone in high school gets into our shoes, right? So I'm more interested in them training mindset, learning how they learn, learning how to solve problems. These are sort of the skill sets that you'll always need to know to be successful rather than focusing on, learning how to do a software.
That's true. Well, I never saw it in that way because I struggled when I started my marketing masters because I wasn't that good in Excel and Tableau. But it's true, software changes, but the mindset and the personal skills are the ones that are going to lead you to success. That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, when you started your master's in marketing, you came from undergraduate, correct?
Yes.
So it's different than from what the advice I would give to a high schooler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
However, it's good to know that it's important to build those skills in a personal level because I have a
Absolutely.
daughter and that is going to help me because she started high school and I'm going
Sure.
to show her the video so she can learn
Oh,
from.
that's very good. Yeah. Learning how to solve problems. Business is all about solving problems. That's what it is. And you could be a master, a world-class master in some specific software, and you might come and work at Moral Capital. We don't use that software here,
Hmm.
right? So you spent all this time, on this very specific thing that may not work. So that's part of the reason why and look, if you learn how you learn, then you could quickly learn any software, right? I know that I can learn and be not an expert, but I can be proficient in learning any software in a small amount of time because I know how to set myself up for success in that sort of way, where I can acquire a skill in a very short time through focused intensity.
So where do you turn for learning new skills or concepts?
I'm so glad that you asked that because I'm very passionate about this topic. And my answer for you is mentors.
Hmm.
The best way to learn anything is from a mentor. A mentor is a trusted expert that can guide you because they've already been there and done that.
So
They are
experience
already
software.
where you're trying to go. They're doing it, right? And they're doing it successfully. So they are experts and they are the best people to teach you and guide you. Everybody should have at least one mentor in their life, somebody that can guide them, somebody who that they look up to, that can teach them. Um, that's the best. It's the best. It's better than any college. It's better than any YouTube video or any book or anything.
Hmm. So, what mistakes would you recommend future marketers to avoid?
Sorry, I didn't catch that question.
What mistakes future marketers should avoid?
Mistakes.
Yeah.
So you know this well is data. So without data, you're just another person with an opinion. And we all have opinions based on our preconceived notions, on our past experiences, but oftentimes our opinions can be changed based on data. Let me give you a quick example. So uh, here at Morro Capital, we run a lot of e-commerce websites. And we used to think, based on our opinions, that our customers were most interested in best sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Because by definition, a bestseller is something that's sold very well, better than anything else, right?
Yeah.
We installed a tool on our websites called Hotjar. And what this tool did was it showed us heat maps where people would click the most on websites. And guess what? Bestsellers wasn't the most clicked. It
Well,
wasn't even close. What was most clicked was new arrivals.
it's
People
great.
didn't want
The
bestsellers. They
customers
wanted what
do
was
it.
new. They
Yeah.
wanted the newest thing.
Mhm.
So that's a typical place where a marketer could make a decision saying, oh, I'll tell you, bestsellers, let's put all our resources towards the bestsellers. Where without the data, they didn't know that new arrivals was really the deal.
So, how are you or your team measured? Why is that important to your company?
Mhm, mhm. I'll tell you the number one thing that we're measured on. Okay. Before I tell you, I want you to take a guess. What do you think it is?
Um, Customers' needs,
This is the only thing that matters in business. The only thing. What is it?
the sales.
Nope, not the sales. All right, you ready for the answer?
Yes.
It's the net profit of the company. Okay.
Okay.
What you actually keep. That's all that matters, not the sales. In fact, companies that are measured based on sales, that so how would you like it if I sold $1 million, but I spent $900,000 on advertising,
Yeah.
right?
That makes
Or what if I uh, my sales were $500,000, but I only spent $100,000 and I got to keep 400,000. So it's always the net profit. You have to control expenses. Lots of companies are distracted by the sales and they don't keep their expenses down, or they are, let's say, not frugal enough with some of the luxuries that are out there, and they end up spending way too much money, and then they don't keep any of the money. We know lots of businesses that have their top line sales were $100 million, but they lost money at the end of the year. So we're measured on the net profit. That's how I get paid here, is based on a percentage of the net profit.
And what happens if I already made a mistake? And what should I do regarding the big picture strategies when I made the mistake
Yeah,
already?
yeah. Well, mistakes are inevitable. You know, everybody's going to make mistakes, especially if you do a lot of things, right? If you do 100 things in a day, you're going to make mistakes on some of them. But the important things with making a mistake is that you learn from it and you don't repeat it. Okay, so and oftentimes you'll make a mistake and it will hopefully be on a small scale, and then you'll say, "Oh, I'm glad that I made this mistake because now I know. Now I've learned." It's only when you repeat the mistake over and over again that it becomes a problem,
Mhm.
right? So mistakes are okay, problems are okay, because we get an opportunity to fix them, and we have an opportunity to learn from them.
I really appreciate your time answering these questions. There is something else that you would like to recommend our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and just tell me briefly, who's the target audience? Who's going to be watching this? Just so I can make a targeted
Mostly,
recommendation.
mostly marketers and students are in the business college for FIU, and It's going to be in YouTube, so basically everyone is going to see
Okay, great, great. Okay, so if you're interested in career development, I recommend Ken Coleman, the Proximity Principle. It's a great resource for you. I also recommend heavily Jocko Willink. He's a great person if you're looking for some information on discipline, on ownership, which is such an important topic here. Uh, I'm also a big fan of Dave Ramsey for uh, finance, staying debt free, so important. Um, and living with beneath your means and saving money. It's such a big thing because just briefly, you know the story of the three little pigs?
it. Yes.
Okay. The first pig, he made his house out of straw, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is like, he said, YOLO, you only live once. We got to spend money, got to have fancy stuff, right? Got to show off. And then the big bad wolf came by, right? And the big bad wolf, maybe it's the coronavirus, right? And then they're getting laid off from their job, okay? And now they have no money, right? The piggy that made his house out of bricks, he saved his money. He didn't buy dumb stuff to show off. Didn't need a fancy car, right?
Yes.
And he saved his money. And then when he had an emergency or a downturn in the economy, he had some savings to fall back on. So just think about that next time if you're watching this video and you're going to go to Starbucks and get like a $4 cup of coffee. You could transfer $4 instead to your savings account. And if you did that every time, it would actually grow into some nice money that you can use for an emergency, or even better off, invest.
That's an awesome advice for entrepreneurs and not only for students. Thank you so much, Mr. Seedman,
You're welcome.
for your time.
Okay, it's my pleasure. And if you need anything else, feel free to always reach back out. I'm always available to help, okay?
Thank you so much.
All